The U.S. Education Department is escalating its fight to end DEI.
Some questions about what happens to the nation's education system.
We will ultimately eliminate the Federal Department of Education.
The entire agency is on the chopping block.
Here's what the Department of Education does do, though. It's essentially a pass-through for billions of dollars that go to help schools educate students with disabilities.
Trump just now signing that executive order.
Congressional Democrats are fighting to keep the doors of the Education Department open.
Massive cuts to the U.S. Department of Education have many worried about the trickle-down effect on the local level.
The Trump administration told state education officials they have just 10 days to prove they've eliminated all diversity, equity, and inclusion programs from.
Tell you, these are the young people who will be the scientists, the engineers, the business owners.
He was standing in the way of all children.
It would be up to the individual states to decide how much funding those students will receive.
We spend more money per pupil than any other nation in the world.
Look them in the eye. Come on, hold your face up.
So we just want to fight to make sure that more kids continue to have that kind of access.
They're participating in a national walk-in day in support of public schools.
With legal actions, we will protect our students. Using legislative action, we will protect our students.
We need to look at movements of the past, and if you look at social movements of the past, you will see that oppressed people and people without power took power. Power is never given, it is taken. And I think that children need to be more outspoken, more defiant in spaces and places that do not reflect them, to push and agitate more. And they need to call on adults. They need to call adults out for their BS more. But adults also have to kind of empower them to do that. They should not be funded based on property ownership, because we know that it's documented evidence that redlining happened. And so we have to change that. And in changing that, we also have to change how we compensate educators, because there's an old adage that says you get what you pay for. And you know, the requirements of being a teacher, getting licensed or not licensed, and then the pay and the respect that the community gives and, you know, provides to teachers. We have to be paying teachers more. If you want higher quality kids, if you want higher quality teachers, you have to pay teachers more. Point blank period. You have to pay everybody that works in schools more, which also loops back to like the property taxes and how schools ultimately are funded. So just starting with money, you got to change how and what you fund. Then going to like operations, you have to change how schools operate and the roles of humans in them. It is a farce to say that you know, that schools in areas that are high crime, high poverty, that every school doesn't have 2 social workers, at minimum of 2 social workers on staff. A lot of schools don't have any social worker on staff, and they share a social worker with the district. That then means that a social worker's caseload can be, you know, 200, and that's just a joke, because you're not meeting the needs of 200 individuals. You know, the fact that it is unique and rare to have therapists and therapy in schools, you have to change that, because we have a lot of trauma from schools and in schools that is being unaddressed. You have to have more counselor positions, more psychologist positions in schools. You also have to have schools be able to get unrestricted funds with, you know, checks and balances, audit all day. But schools need more unrestricted funds to be able to fund and meet the needs in a way that they know, hey, I know this community, I know what we need, I know what the kids will be into, as opposed to what often happens is a district or a federal mandate will come down and you have to do it. The schools and education as we know it in America is broken. It is a broken system. So I fully agree with them. Like, it's broken. Don't believe it. It's going to destroy your kids. It's going to ruin your community. It's going to make your community stay just as bad as it is if it keeps going. And because it is education, it is the work of the mind. And I'm a person that fully believes a human can learn anything. Everyone needs to value education and not schools, because schools have done a number in the same way that religion has done a number on spirituality and faith. Schools have done a number on education and learning. And if people just value deep education and deeper learning, I think we'll be all right.